Alright, so if the question is, why would a concept map, such as the one that's on the board, be a useful learning tool?
Like you can organize your thoughts on it. You can see how the different ideas are connected.
It helps you remember ideas about something.
It separates important facts.
Now, go ahead. Something that's come up in every class is that helps us organize our ideas. But to me, that looks really disorganized. Why do we say that that's organized? Yeah.
Because you have them separated into groups.
We said it again, louder.
Because you have them separated into groups. There's an explanation for each.
What do you mean there's an explanation?
Like if it's based on the arrow to the right and the blue like circle, the idea.
Okay. Let me ask you a question about this concept map. Most people would agree that the black is better than the green. Why?
Oh, because it has more details than the other one. Like more ideas.
And there's like 3 other hands up. What were you guys going to say?
Same thing.
We talked on Friday about how saying the same thing in a little bit different words can even be useful.
It's more explain. It has the one that has more explanation but is confusing.
Say that again.
It has more explanation but is confusing.
What makes it confusing?
The lines.
Since it's connected to the red.
Why do you think that's a good thing? I'm going to ask that question to everybody. Raul said the black is connected to the red. Why would that be a good thing?
Because it takes a piece of information and tells you that this piece of information is connected to that.
Because all of them, everything surrounding baseball has to do with it.
Why is making connections between 2 pieces of information a good thing to do?
It helps it supporting.
They relate to each other.
What?
They relate to each other.
Why do we want things to relate to each other? How does that help us? Because remember, the original question was useful for learning. How does relating things to each other help us learn things?
Helps us understand it.
It's more explaining everything and it's not right to the point.
I'll give you another example to think about. If I had a spider web in this doorway, the spider, we're going to say, only has 2 options. One would be to make a line across, to make 3 lines across here. Okay? Or maybe even, let's say, 10 lines across, going all the way down. Or the spider could take that same amount of web, whatever you want to call it, and make a little network up here. Which do you think the spider would do and why? Why? Okay.
Better chance of not breaking.
Covers one.
It's in with the lines. If we try to catch a fly, they just go like right through the lines, but it's a web so you really can't move it anywhere.
Okay, so with the web in the corner, it's going to do its job better, is what you're saying. And Lane, you said something about how in the corner it's stronger. Why is it stronger?
More compact.
More what?
Compact.
Okay. What else makes the web stronger than just the individual lines going across?
There's more of it.
Boy, it's moving.
What do you mean?
Like, it's smaller, so there's not as much clearance, so you have more lines.
What else else is the benefit of having more lines?
The spider kind of goes like, to every part of it.
Okay. And so now we want to relate that to this thing with the green and the black. And you guys kind of said this, but basically this part, where it's the more lines connecting, is going to be stronger. It's going to be more useful. You can mentally travel around it easier. Whereas here, it's kind of disconnected. It's kind of all by itself. It's kind of out there, just kind of hanging there. Another example that I've used with some classes is if I make a, you maybe haven't done this since you were 3 or 4, but we've all played with blocks before and made stacks. Or think about Jenga or something like that. If I'm stacking blocks, as I get higher, what happens?
They get
Start
stuck
to
more
fall.
likely to fall.
Okay? And so how can I make it so that they're less likely to fall?
Don't put in a bigger base.
What do you mean?
Like put more blocks around the edge. Make it thicker.
I'm not quite sure what you mean.
Like higher.
Pyramid.
So it supports.
Oh, like a pyramid.
Yeah.
And so by having more blocks all in contact with each other, or more concepts all in contact with each other, we actually make a stronger system. What I'm trying to help you do with something like this is help you make a stronger system of thinking. All right, everybody back up here, please. Somebody take a position and defend it.
The lines
The lines, what?
are more important because without the lines, the bubbles really wouldn't make sense. Without the words on the lines, you just go from like baseball to teams, and that doesn't really make any sense.
What do you guys think?
Yeah.
Why do you agree? Say that again louder.
The lines show how they connect.
Because, like, you wouldn't have to have the bubbles around it, you just have the word, and then you're going to need the lines to connect it. So you need the lines to come around it.
I thought you had your hand.
Oh, okay. Like I said, yeah, I agree that the lines are important because without the lines, like if you take up all the lines, it's very confusing.
Okay.
Because without lines, you know how everything connects or supports each other.
The bubble, because without the bubble, there's no lines.
Okay, so you're arguing that the bubble's more important. So you disagree with everybody. Other thoughts about the bubbles?
Are you talking about
Like the circles.
things in, or the words in them, or are you
Yeah.
taking the words out?
Well, I'm talking about the things in the bubbles. Emily.
I think they're equally important because without one, another one wouldn't make sense. Like if you had only the lines, somebody would be going, has what?
Okay. I don't know if you guys have used these before. The reason that I want to draw your attention to the importance of both is because when students make these for the first time, they usually focus only on the bubbles. And they just kind of draw lines wherever. But if you don't really think about the lines and what goes on the lines, you're not really getting the most out of this. Because the bubbles is actually pretty easy to come up with. But I agree with you guys, they are both important. It's kind of like if I was making a brick wall. If I made the brick wall without mortar, which is the stuff in between the bricks, it's not going to be a very good brick wall. If I make the brick wall with no bricks, it's not really a brick wall. And I could make it just a long, high cement thing, but it's going to be hard to make it into a wall. It would be more like a hill. So they're both important, but I want to draw your attention to the lines because most people leave those out.